Welcome to the Heart, Mind, Body Collective podcast, where heart, mind, and body meet and practice. This podcast has been created for those who are passionate about personal and professional growth, emotional well-being, connection, relationships, and self-mastery. Through conversations with practitioners, hypnotherapists, healers, educators, coaches, and thought leaders, we dive deeper into understanding the human experience. Your host is Rebekah Fisher, doula, hypnotherapist, relationship and mindset coach.
All right. Welcome, Conny. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And just for those that are listening or watching, would you like to, can we start with just sharing a little bit about yourself? And I guess also how you came to become a hypnotherapist.
Okay, so I'm Conny Wladkowski, and I am a hypnotherapist. I'm an author, and I'm an international presenter. And the reason why I essentially, become a hypnotherapist is because of my own healing journey and how hypnotherapy actually changed my life. Because for the majority of my life, growing up, I experienced trauma. I had no self-belief. I had no
Mm.
self-love. I had zero confidence. And life for me was
Wow.
really struggling, and I was suffering a lot from anxiety, to the
Okay.
point where life for me was just more about surviving and getting through the day and and growing up. I went through the traditional therapy approach at times,
Mm.
and I didn't do anything. Then I tried other things, but nothing really, I guess, gave me that long-term relief that I needed to,
Yes.
to maybe live a life and not just survive.
Yes.
And
Yes.
um and what was happening was, as years went on, things only got worse for me.
Okay.
Nothing was improving for me. Nothing was getting better. And then I remember my daughter was a year old, my firstborn. And at
Mm-hmm.
that time, the anxiety was really bad, to the point where I actually had daily panic attacks, or I would wake up in the middle of the night having a panic attack to the point where I couldn't breathe. You know,
Oh,
that feeling
wow.
in the chest, that
Yes.
that full-on feeling where you feel like you're having a heart attack. Like, that's how intense
Yes.
it was.
Yes. Anxiety can really feel like that, like you're ha literally having a heart attack. Yeah. Yeah. Those panic
Totally.
attacks are frightening. Yeah.
And you know what? When you haven't experienced it before, you don't know
Mm.
what's happening to you in that moment either.
Mm-mm. No, you literally physically, because it does. You really feel it in your chest, don't you? And you can't. You're gasping for breath. It does feel like your heart's about to stop. I
Mm,
relate to that. Yeah.
I was full on. And then obviously you can imagine, after like a night like this, I would wake up in the morning. I had no patience for my little one. I wasn't even
Hmm.
present with her. I was just
Mm.
always worried. I guess always worried about what's going to happen during the day. Then I was worried to
Yes.
go to sleep
Yes.
because I was worried having another panic attack, and that just kept
Yes.
happening over and over again.
Mm.
And that really affected me a lot. And I remember one specific moment. I took her to her baby swimming lesson. She was just about a year old, so I took her to the swimming
Mm.
lesson, which was just around the corner from my house. And as we're about to drive home, I had a panic attack in the car before we started driving.
Mm.
And
Mm.
then I couldn't drive her home anymore.
Wow. Yeah,
Like,
that's
luckily
intense.
we could walk home, but
Yeah.
I felt that, I think that was the
Yeah.
lowest of the lowest that I felt about myself, that I couldn't even take my own daughter home anymore for like a 3-minute car ride.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and at that moment really, I guess, changed me in the way where I'm like, I can't live like that anymore. That can't be it.
Mm.
Like, there
Mm.
must be something else out there for me. And this is when I decided to try something different, something new. And it was
Mm.
almost like it was my last resort, and it was hypnotherapy.
Mm.
And of course, there was a part of me that was worried that, what if that doesn't work? There's nothing else
Oh, of
anymore out there.
course. Yes, yes, yes.
So
Yeah, I can
that was
totally
full on.
understand that. Yeah.
But then I had my hypnotherapy sessions, and within weeks I had no more anxiety, and within
Mm,
months I had no more panic attacks.
mm. It's very powerful.
And that's what made me change my career, because I actually got a law degree, but I
That's
decided,
right. You do too, don't you? Yes, that's correct. So you went from being a lawyer to becoming a hypnotherapist. Yeah.
yes, because of my own healing journey. And this is when I decided that I really want to specialize in anxiety and in trauma relief, because they're
Mm,
both things I've experienced myself.
yes. Yeah, no, I can totally understand that. I mean, I've had anxiety myself in my life. And then I got hit by a car, so not being able to drive and having literal panic attacks that were just all consuming. It really, it just feels so disempowering. Yeah, it feels so disempowering, and it really does drain you of confidence as well. So yeah, so it's
Mm,
great that I think it's great to be able to help people with anxiety and feel empowered, because I mean, I've had clients, they come to me and they say, "Oh yeah, I was told I just had anxiety," and yet they feel crippled by it. "Oh, you've just got anxiety, go take a pill." It's not, whereas they don't want to feel the anxiety. They don't want to feel
you know what?
anxious.
I feel like, yeah, and you know what? I feel like, I don't know if you can relate to that, but it might start in one area, and then
Yes,
it usually starts rippling out to other areas in their life. It didn't
yes,
start with driving for me.
mm,
It started with many other things, but then it got all the way down to now I can't even drive anymore. And that just
yes,
really lowers your level of confidence, or your level of confidence of doing anything. Because you know
yes.
what my mechanism was? I started
What?
avoiding everything.
Yes, that's me. Yes, totally. Yes, you do. You avoid. Yeah.
And then
Avoidance
your
is pretty
comfort zone
strong.
shrinks. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. And then the negative thoughts start, and then the negative can become quite dark thoughts, and then you just feel trapped in your own being. It's yeah.
mm.
So
And it
so
feels
it's
very lonely, because I remember
yes.
going through that. I felt like that even my family that was really supportive, yeah, trying to
Mm,
help
mm.
me, I just felt so alone, because I felt like they didn't understand that it wasn't
Mm.
just a matter of, oh, try to relax, try to think of something positive,
Yes.
try to distract your
Yes.
mind. That was all great advice. But
Mm.
I was like, well, if I can just distract myself, I would be doing it. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
It was that
Yes.
simple.
It's a little bit harder than that, isn't it? Yeah, totally.
Mm.
Totally, totally, totally. Totally. And now you go, gosh, you're an international speaker, which is just fantastic. Being able to speak about, and you have a particular process as well without regression. Is that correct?
Yeah, so
You don't
when
focus on regression as such. So if you want to speak a
yeah,
little bit more about that.
yeah, 100%. And this was basically when I overcome anxiety, and I decided to become a hypnotherapist.
Mm,
I did all the trainings and everything, but I never started seeing a client, because I still had
right.
that unresolved trauma, I guess, that was affecting me. I still had no confidence. I couldn't even walk into a room full of
Ah,
people and say hello. Like that,
right. Wow.
my hands would shake. I would feel physically sick having to walk into a room of people, or speaking even just in front of people, or saying hello. Um,
Oh, Connie, wow.
so
You don't come across that way now. What
yes,
a
I've changed a
journey.
lot. I've changed a lot. And this was one of my main thing was, okay, well, now I need to heal from that unresolved trauma, and I
Yes.
clear up those beliefs, clear up those fears, but I wanted to find an approach where I can heal without having to go back and talk about it over and over again.
Yes. Because that in itself can be really triggering.
100%. And this is when I really started being interested in the neuroscience of the brain. And this is what I
Mm,
talk about in all my presentations is what is actually the mechanism of change? Because the mechanism of change, whether we use regression, because there is a place of for
Yes, there's a
regression,
place for it. Yes, totally.
100%. But I was looking at, okay, well, what is the mechanism of change? Because there's so many ways of creating change. And this is what I look at. So I look at the neuroscience behind, okay, what is the steps that need to be achieved for a pattern? Because all of these things that we keep repeating, whether it's anxiety is a learned habitual behavior in the brain. So it's a pattern.
Yes, it is.
So I was
Yes.
looking at how can we change a pattern in the brain. Um,
Mm.
Not so much looking at, okay, well, is it regression, non-regression, visualization? What are the exact steps in the brain that we need to achieve?
Yes. Yes. No, I love how you think. Yes. Yeah, that's amazing. That's
And I
so
was there
amazing.
I was dissecting the things that I learned in my trainings, rather than just,
Mm.
okay, well, this is how I do it because I learned it that way. It was like, okay, why
Mm.
am I doing these particular
Mm.
steps? And
Mm.
that's when I developed my own program, the Shine Through Trauma program, which is all
Mm.
about healing without regression.
Mm. And you've written a book as well, haven't you? How did that
Yes,
come about? You can show us the book.
I've got the book
Have a
here, so
quick
it's Shine Through
yay.
Trauma.
And where, Jess, we'll give it a plug. Where can people buy that from?
We can post the Amazon link hopefully, but you can find it on
Yes.
Amazon.
Okay, great. Yep, we'll post that link. Yes. All right.
So
Fantastic.
the book came about a specific client, Victoria, that I worked with, that I've
Mm-hmm.
helped through my Shine process. And I think it's probably the most profound change that I've experienced and that I've helped the client to achieve from a
Yes.
person that hadn't left the house, I think in over 5 years, to not even grocery shopping
Wow.
anymore. The only
Wow.
basic things she did was go to her GP appointments that she had to attend in person.
Right.
Um, but everything else she did online. And even those appointments, quite often she would reschedule them week after week
Yeah.
after week.
Yeah,
Or she
because
would
of the
leave the house.
anxiety.
Yes, she would leave the house and then turn around halfway, run out in the middle of an appointment. Um,
Oh,
so with
yeah.
her, it was after session 2 only, really, if you think about it, she went grocery shopping for the first time again.
That's amazing. After two, wow, that's amazing.
Mm. So her healing journey was so profound, and that, I've asked her if she was okay if I would write a book about her, and that was so
Yes.
empowering, amazing for her as well. And she
Yeah.
contributed in the book, so she written a chapter herself in the book because I wanted her to be
Yeah.
part of the book.
Yeah.
And then
That's
I did a little
amazing,
interview
Connie.
with her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And how did it feel writing the book?
scary.
That, yeah.
Can you
I've
imagine
got,
what beliefs
I've,
came up? Can you imagine what beliefs
yeah.
came up in the process of me writing a book in English? It's not even my first language.
Oh, this is correct. Yes, totally. I mean, my partner's Greek, so sometimes when he says something, I'm like, okay, you really realize English is not the first language. So yeah. Oh, that's a
100%.
whole other level. Wow. Okay. How long did it take for you to write the book?
I would say about 6 months until I've handed it over to get it edited.
Well done. That's still pretty quick. Some people take years. Some people still haven't finished. Speaking for myself.
Well,
Got about
I
three
really did
books not finished yet. Yeah.
I put my mind and focus on writing the book. There
Mm.
was I had this timeline where I wanted to be the book to be published. Um,
Yes. You set
and
a
it took
goal.
longer
Yeah.
than that anyway at the end. Um, because editing and then this didn't work, so there was a lot more hurdles than expected. But
Mm.
I think one of the things about this book, and this was because when you write a book you think about the audience.
Yes, you
So
do. Yes.
I've kept it in mind in 2 ways. So I've written the book for the hypnotherapist
Yes.
so they can get some ideas how to work with a client without regression. But then
Mm.
because I've had the client involved in the book, also for the person that has experienced trauma that might feel
Yes.
like I've tried everything but nothing has worked.
Yes.
Get a bit of hope,
Yes.
I guess.
Yeah, no, that's so powerful. That's really wonderful. Because again, I think I shared with somebody else, and I often share it. Like a lot of people do come and seek us out as hypnotherapists when they feel like they've tried everything else. And, I get told that quite a lot. I've tried everything. Now, someone suggested I try this. I need to shift this limiting belief. I don't want to feel like this anymore. Don't want to feel like this anymore. Yeah.
100%. And that client out of the book was the same. She had already been in the traditional therapy approach for, I think, 5 or 6 years, and she only got worse. And there was some certain appointments she had to attend in person that were how do you say it? That were necessary for her financial stability. So if she wasn't going to attend them, she would have no means of living. Like it was really important for her to get those appointments done so she can still, financially live. And she was like, well, nothing has helped me. And it was the same thing. I need something. It's like the last resort. And I feel like when a person reads that, they're gonna be like, oh wow, that's how I feel. And that's how I felt. I said
Yes,
that. It was
that's
my last
right.
resort.
Yeah, yeah, totally, 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 totally. I can relate to that with my own journey of anxiety. So like literally feeling like I'm going to have to blow into a paper bag or like I can't breathe and my heart, So it is. It can be so physically, emotionally, and mentally, debilitating to feel that way. So to be able to have a process and successfully, apply that and have that transformation is so powerful. Yeah, so it's fantastic. So when we I get to see you in October at the conference. So what will you be speaking about, or what are you going to share with people at the conference?
I do want to talk about, why we have those reoccurring patterns, and it doesn't have to be
Mm.
always from trauma. Not everyone has
No,
experienced,
no,
and,
no. Yeah.
and they still have reoccurring patterns. So I want to talk about a little bit
Yes.
how patterns develop from trauma, but also just from how we grow up, childhood experiences,
Mm.
habitual topic behaviors. Um, then I want to talk about why or how insight, because a lot of people know why they're feeling a certain way, or they know why they've developed something, but it frustrates them because they still can't change it.
Yes,
I want
that's
to talk about
so true. Yes.
how insight, and that's what I use the word insight for, how insight doesn't change a pattern.
That
Insight
is
helps,
so true. Mm.
yeah, it helps us understand it and maybe find an explanation, but it doesn't stop
Mm.
it. And it also makes it more
No.
frustrating to people.
Yes, totally. But that's so well said. That insight doesn't necessarily facilitate the transformation that people want. Yeah.
100%. And then I want to talk about obviously what does facilitate the transformation
Yes.
for a client. What are the necessary steps for it? And I am also a big believer in what happens after the session. We can create
Yes.
massive change work in a session, and we have those moments where the client walks out feeling different and hopeful. But I do believe that there is a importance of repetition and reinforcement.
I
If I want to
agree with
create a new
you.
pattern, if I want to create a new habit,
Mm.
a habit is not when I do something once.
No, exactly. Yeah.
So I want to talk about the elements of repetition and reinforcement and how we can help our clients reinforce the change work
Mm.
that we've done in the session in between the next session and the next session.
That's really powerful. It gives them tools. Yeah.
Mm,
I often give homework to clients. It's like, right, now we've done this. Now you need to support yourself through A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
of
This is
course, you
what
know
you need
what?
to
Because
do.
think about, a client might walk out feeling, let's say with a client, for example, from the book, she was the one
Mm.
that said after session two, you know what? I want to go to the supermarket. I feel ready to go. And I'm like, great. But then I said to her, okay, let's talk about it. Let's think about what is a good time to go and write down
Yes.
maybe a list of 5 or 6 things to get. Because the last thing
Mm.
I wanted was for her to now feel excited after session, run to the supermarket. Maybe it's peak time right now. And
Hmm.
she's like, I don't even know what to get. and then she
Mm-hmm.
might feel now overwhelmed. And that could cause the
Exactly.
opposite effect.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
so
No.
that's where I
Yes.
said to her, write a list of things. And I taught her a tool, a calming technique that she can
Mm.
use when she's there, if she starts feeling a bit nervous or the breathing or whatever. So I think it's important to
Mm.
equip our clients with tools that they can use when they go out and take an action, or
Yes.
even just in case they're being triggered.
Yes, I agree. Be able to have for them to be able to consciously meet their triggers. Yeah. I said it
Mm.
before with somebody, so sorry to those that are listening and I'm repeating myself, but it's like being all dressed up in the most perfect outfit and you go outside and then, a truck goes past and you're covered in muddy water. Life is going to give you experiences that you can't, plan for, and sometimes it is triggering. And that's also what happens in the brain, because that's what the brain does. It's going to bring up it feels like, sounds like, oh, here we go. And then all of a sudden you're feeling anxious when you weren't consciously thinking about what happened, or you feel like you've moved on, and then yet an experience, a sensation will, and then your brain's like, uh-oh, so to be able to deal with it then and there in the moment with it, with a really powerful tool, I feel just anchors down that healing, and then you're able to go, oh my God, oh, I've got this. And that also is equally empowering for your client, I feel, that's why tools, I think, become so important.
100%. And look, for me, on my own healing journey and overcoming anxiety, when I
Mm.
learned a tool where I was able to stop a panic attack in under a minute, that changed my
Yes.
life. Because
Yes.
I went to sleep, and I'm like,
Mm.
okay, if I wake up, because I used to wake up having that panic attack. I
Having a
didn't have
panic
any
attack,
signs
yeah.
before. I used the tool, I stopped it, and I went
Mm.
to sleep every single night knowing if it happens, I can stop it. How empowering is that?
It's so empowering. Yeah, totally. It's really empowering. That's amazing. That's so, oh. And so I guess for you, like when we talk about the heart, mind, body alignment, like how do you on a day-to-day basis come back into alignment if you're feeling a bit off? Or, how would you describe that in yourself, and how a practice, like I guess what's your favorite practice? Like I love to breathe and come back into myself, feel my feet on the floor, the clothes on my skin. I've got various little tools
Mm.
that I use to come back into alignment. What about you? For you, what
Well,
do
it's
you like to
so
use?
those tools that I teach my clients, their
Mm.
bilateral stimulation techniques, breathing techniques, I use those same tools myself. Now,
Mm.
back again, there were those tools that I learned to overcome anxiety and panic attack. Now, I don't have panic attacks anymore, thank God, and
Mm.
anxiety, but I use those same tools just in a different context now. When I
Yes.
travel the world and present, am I nervous sometimes? Of course, I'm going to
Of
places I have,
course.
I'm going
Yes.
I'm presenting. I had to use
Yes.
those same tools when I was publishing my book. All of
Yes.
those. I've got two little kids that I'm raising.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
uh, and I tell my clients, and I think that is really important that our clients understand, hey, I am not just telling you something that I'm not doing myself. And I
Yes,
think that's where the
exactly.
I think this is where the authenticity comes in, where I'm
Mm.
like, I get my clients to push themselves out of the comfort zone, so I get my clients
Mm.
to do actions after the session.
Mm.
And who am I to not do it?
Yes, I agree with you. Yeah.
Which was my biggest motivator of overcoming the fear of public speaking, which I literally only overcame about 4 years ago. Because up until then, I was like, yeah, I'm seeing clients, I'm successful, I've done all that. And I'm like, I don't need to public speak. Not everyone is going to be a public speaker, sort of. There were my
Yeah.
excuses. When I pulled myself up and said, hold on, I'm getting my clients to push themselves out of their comfort zone. So who am I not to do it? And then I signed
Yes.
up to present in Las Vegas for the first time. I'm like, I'm just gonna apply and see what happens. And I got
Mm.
chosen. And then I told myself, you know what? Even if I just go there and do it once, I don't need to love it. I don't need to like public
Mm.
speaking. But
Mm.
just do it once. Just do it once because
Yes.
you owe that to your clients. And look where it's gotten me to. I love it now, and I speak all over the world. Totally
Yeah.
unexpected.
It's exciting, isn't it? It's exciting. A little bit of performance anxiety. I know that from dance and television as well. It's like you have that little bit of nerves, and there's like, no, it's okay. You just kind of throw yourself in there.
And this is it
I
now.
found,
Yeah, sorry.
oh no, I just found I remember. Because I remember, teaching breath techniques, conscious breathing and different relaxation techniques as a part of, being a doula and childbirth educator and, incorporating hypnotherapy in that. But also, I found that it was like, well, when you're sitting there at 2 a.m. and you're exhausted, then breathe. If your child's really upset, then why don't you practice some of that birth breathing that you had, because I know as a mother, when I felt anxious, if I brought myself back to my breath, that I'd be okay. Um, and then it was so validating when I went to this conference, and one of my Sheila Kissinger, she's a social anthropologist who studied birth, and she said whatever breath work, relaxation techniques you teach for birth, you're giving people lifelong skills to be able to handle stressful situations. And it was so empowering. And I just thought, yeah, that's so true. So, and I feel like when and I get really good feedback when people would, my clients were saying that they were applying those sorts of breathing techniques when they were struggling. It didn't mean that they didn't have challenges, as all new parents we do, but they started applying, those techniques that they had for their birth anxiety, into their parental anxiety, and were finding I can do this. I can do this. It's going to be okay. So, yeah, I think it's just so important to give our clients not just the sessions, but the tools.
100%. It's all about empowering them.
100%.
Because
What were you
life
going to
will throw
say?
challenges
Yeah.
at us. Whether
Yes.
you throw yourself into a challenge like I did, or whether a challenge gets thrown at you, which happens to me too, the
Yes.
difference now is that I can deal with those challenges. And
Yes.
and that's the key difference. That's what I tell my clients. I'm like, I'm using the tools. I've also made this decision about half a year ago that in between my clients, I use a reset technique with breathing and a bilateral stimulation
Yes.
technique.
Wow.
Because it's
Okay.
so important that my nervous system is regulated before my next client.
Yes.
Because if my nervous system is not regulated, because I am on
Yes.
like, oh, I gotta do this, this, and this, and this, and in between clients I can do this, I'm not regulated. And just like
No.
how you were saying with kids, if we're not regulated as moms, the kids can feel it. But if we're not
Totally.
regulated as therapists, our clients can feel it too.
They can feel it. And I know in my own journey of trying to deal with childhood trauma and anxiety, when you're sitting in front of a therapist and they're not present, you literally feel it because anxiety will put you in a bit of a hypervigilant state. You're looking for connection, and then you're sitting with this person that you don't feel like they're connecting with you, which then puts you into more anxiety because you don't feel heard.
Or
So
safe, or
yeah,
even safe,
or
When
safe. Well,
the
that's
nervous
it.
system
You're
feels
not feeling
safe.
safe. Exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
Exactly. And I feel like when I look back over my journey of working with hypnotherapy, because I found, I discovered I'd heard about hypnotherapy, I was a meditator, so I definitely found peace through deep, profound states in meditation, which, I guess is a form of self-hypnosis anyway, really, when you go into those states and you really follow your breath and all of that and let go of the monkey mind, so to speak. But yeah, so I've just found that it really does empower you to face your fears. Whatever they are, you can say, you get to a point where you're looking at your fear and you can go, okay, I see you, I feel you, and you feel safe enough within yourself to address it and go, okay, I'm not my fear. I'm not this story. I'm not my anxiety. I'm so much more than that. And that's what I love about hypnotherapy and these processes. You know, you don't, I feel it really helps you with that. So, yeah.
100%. And even I do a lot, I talk a lot about triggers, and I don't like to use
Yes,
trigger as a buzzword because everybody gets triggered.
it
It's
is a
more,
buzzword. Yeah, we all get triggered.
yeah, but when I look at the science of triggers, when you are triggered, that's the moment of change. That's the
It
most powerful moment.
is.
So when I'm triggered, I mean, don't get me wrong, not that I like being triggered. And in that moment,
No,
sometimes you're just like, why is this happening? But I look at it and I'm like,
not
oh,
again.
that's not a moment. Something for me to clear
Mm.
up.
Yep, totally. I agree with you. I used to work like that when women would say, "Oh, wow, my I'm so anxious." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. Well, what's your anxiety trying to teach you? Let's look at it like that. Let's actually start to make your anxiety or your fear your friend, so that we can easily start to work with it." And they'd look at me because that's what I had to learn. I had to learn to make peace with it and go, okay, otherwise I was in such a state of resistance when I did feel triggered. Whereas if I found, okay, cool, all right, okay, let's work with this. Now I've got this opportunity to practice this tool and be a bit, yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it's not easy always, and sometimes you've got to really work consciously, don't you, in the moment. But once you do it and you've done it a few times and you've had an experience of release or feeling your breath again, or that state, it's a peak state you get into and then it passes. It's, oh wow, okay, so yeah, you get to experience things a lot differently and have, I don't want to say more control over your triggers, but you can respond very differently to that so-called trigger. Yeah, but yeah, it is. I'm like you. I tend to view it now, even though it's uncomfortable. It's like, okay, here we go. You know what to do. Let's look it in the eye. Okay, all right, okay. What is it? It's not, doesn't have to be perfection, but progress is pretty cool, you know.
100%. And you know what? I feel like it takes away the fear of triggered, the feeling of I'm broken or something's wrong with me.
Yes,
Because you know what that
yes,
creates? That creates, if someone is scared, let's say, of being triggered or scared of stuff showing up,
yes,
or their nervous system tightens. And there we go,
yes.
protection mode, with fight or flight response, and
Mm,
and that creates
yeah.
that resistance you were talking about.
Yes, exactly. You're just in resistance. Yeah.
Mm,
So, and it's not a comfortable place to be, and when people are in resistance, it's not that easy just to let go, but
mm.
it does take practice and time and more than once, trying it more than once. Or even twice. Giving it a real go. So, yeah. No, this is great. I'm so looking forward to hearing your talk at the conference. Is there any words of wisdom? Like if someone was sitting on the fence here going, do I go, is this going to work for me? I've got a bit of fear. I'm not sure about this hypnotherapy thing. Someone suggested it. Like what would you say? What would your advice be to that person?
I would say just, give it a go. Give it, there's nothing to lose. Give it a go. Have an open mind. And I
Mm,
think the key thing is not every hypnotherapist is the same as every other hypnotherapist. It's all about
so true.
finding the person that you might feel comfortable with. And I mean, I offer, well, I know most of us do, we offer like a discovery call where we
Yes.
find out, what the problem is, where the client kind of gets to know us. And then take it from there. Find someone that you
Mm.
feel comfortable with. I am a strong believer in find someone that specializes in the problem that you want to overcome. This is what
Yes, that's
I
great
believe.
advice,
I think,
Connie.
and you know what? Because most of us do work online over Zoom, you don't have to
Yes.
go to the person that's around the corner that might not specialize in what you need help with. You can pick from anywhere in the world who you want to work with. even tonight, I've got a client from Austria. I work all over the world with
Mm.
clients. And as I said, I do specialize in anxiety and in trauma relief, and I also love weight loss. That's what I'm really good
Oh,
at.
I didn't know that. Okay. I didn't know you did weight loss too. Yeah, I did a bit of that with women after they've put on weight from pregnancies and things like that. And their hormones are all over the place. So, tell me more. Just yeah, before we go, tell me more a little bit about the weight loss for you and why you enjoy that so much as well.
Well, I do. So the weight loss that I focus on, and again, that's what I focus on,
Yes.
called hypnofasting. So it's hypnosis and intermittent fasting, and
Oh,
how hypnosis
wow.
can help
Okay.
can help the client with the intermittent fasting process, like making the fasting easier,
Yes.
installing the target weight,
Mm.
creating the future picture. But I also
Mm.
believe, and this is one or at least two sessions I do, is
Yeah.
emotional clearing and
Yes. Yes.
possibly stress relief, because a lot of people do eat when they're stressed, bored, overwhelmed, whatever. So I want to clear that up too.
Yes, that's
And
so true.
clearing up emotional baggage that they're carrying with or beliefs around the weight loss.
Yes, that's so true. Yes, because again, so many women, I've tried all this stuff. It doesn't work. So it is a really important area for people, not just women, for men as well. But yeah, women, I mean, I see about 70% women, 30% men. But yeah, so it is an important area, most
100%.
definitely.
And I've tried a lot of those things myself. Like I've tried keto diet. I actually do live an intermittent fasting lifestyle. That's how I live every
Yes.
day. Um,
Mm.
there's exceptions when I might travel or whatever, but in general, I fast every day. That's just my
Mm.
lifestyle. I don't look at it as a diet. Um,
No.
it's a way of living. So again, I can give my clients advice on how intermittent fasting works. Again, what's worked for me, what hasn't, what's worked for my clients,
Mm.
modify it to their life, give them experiences. What have I tried? The hours of fasting and non-fasting and all of these things.
Mm, mm, mm.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's why I specialize exactly in that, because I'm living it, I'm doing it, I've done it.
Yes, that's so important. Exactly. That's so true. Yes, that's why I love the birth stuff.
I
I
actually did
love that.
hypnobirthing with both of my daughters as well as a
I
client.
didn't know. Did you? Okay. Oh, tell me more. How did you find that?
Well, amazing. And the funny thing was that my firstborn, I did
Mm,
hypnofasting before I did any hypnosis for anxiety. I just focused on not hypnofasting, hypnobirthing. I just did
mm.
hypnobirthing for my firstborn daughter because I wanted to try to do it as natural as possible, I
As
guess.
possible. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's
Um,
wonderful.
so back then I wasn't a hypnotherapist. I was just a
Yeah.
client. Um,
Yeah.
and then with my second daughter, who is 3.5 now, I
Mm.
already was a hypnotherapist, but I still use the hypnobirthing approach again as a client.
Mm. Mm. No, it is. It certainly helps you connect to yourself, I feel, and your child and the process, and gives you more trust as well.
100%. And I really wanted to avoid an epidural at all cost,
Yeah.
um, which I did with both births, so they were both natural.
Oh,
Um,
that's
and it was
fantastic,
only because
Connie.
it's only because I had those techniques. 100%.
Yes. Yes, yes. I too wanted to. I wanted to avoid the epidural as well. And my eldest, who's 34 in a couple of weeks, she was breech. And I remember sitting there with her going, okay, if you really do, if I have to have an epidural, I guess I will if that's what you want, but I really don't want that. And then she turned. It took her a whole day to turn, but I would just sit but that was way before I did hypnotherapy. So I'd sit and meditate, like my version of like it was self-hypnosis, meditating with her and practicing breath and connection and yeah, anyway, she turned and I had this great birth and it was just amazing. But I do remember facing a big fear and I had to look the fear and go, well, you know what? If this is what happens, I'm going to be okay no matter what. And I made that decision. I was like, right, because I had two fears. And I was like, okay, cool. If this is how it has to be, then please give me the strength to surrender, and the faith and the trust and the ability to be able to meet whatever I need to meet. And I made that was it. Look, that was the intention. And then it was interesting because I had this vision. It was like, wow, I had this, it just came to mind of me just holding my baby in my arms and everything was okay. Everything had worked
Oh,
out okay. And then when I look back at it all these years later and however many hundreds of sessions later of birthing with women, that's still one of the most powerful images because it was like that I just saw myself holding my baby and I'd achieved the birth that I'd wanted to, but without fear, so that I could also be able to meet whatever I needed to meet in the moment that was beyond my control.
mm. Yeah, that's so
So
powerful. Think of that fear again, because that fear really, again, tenses up the nervous system,
it
the resist,
does.
and then everything is hard.
Totally. Everything is harder. It's and like your whole body, and that's what resistance is, isn't it? I look at it and I think now birth has taught me so much because our mindset and our emotions, we become very contracted. And it's like we just got to breathe and allow it to be, and meet it with our breath and our wisdom and our strength and our courage and it will be okay. We've got this. So, wow, that's so powerful. I've really enjoyed our conversation, Connie. We'll have to get on and do this again.
Definitely. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
we've got a lot to share. So you're going off now to speak internationally at a couple of different conferences, aren't you?
Yes, I'm going to be speaking in Switzerland first at the Swiss Hypnosis Conference.
Fantastic.
Um, then I'm going to go to Las Vegas to HypnoThoughts live.
Yep.
Um, and then I'm gonna be speaking in Boston at the NGH conference. Well, I'll be
Wow.
also hosting a post-conference training. So yeah,
Fantastic.
a lot happening in the next few months.
A
And then
lot.
Sydney.
And then we get to have you at Sydney. This is so exciting. Oh, thank you so much. And just before we go, so how people can get you, how do they get in contact with you?
Well, to be honest, what I tell most clients is if they have, go on Facebook, because on Facebook you see who I am, you see my clients' testimonials,
Mm.
see posts, you can get
Yes,
a
they're
feel
great
for who I
testimonials.
am. Which
Mm.
obviously not everyone is on Facebook, but I've got also a website which is www.besthypnotherapymelbourne.com.au.
Okay.
And I've also got an email address which is Conny, CONNY, dot hypnosis@gmail.com. So people can also
Fantastic.
email me and yeah, just
Yeah.
reach out. And as I said, anyone can reach out for a free chat and we can
Yes.
go from there. I'm not the person that if someone has a free chat, then I bombard him with messages. It's in the
No.
client's call now. You've had a chat. I've explained how I work, how I can
Mm.
help. Am I the right person to help for this problem? Because that's
Yes.
important
Yeah.
too. Do I feel like I can help that client? And then
Yeah.
it's the client's decision.
Yeah, that's so important. Yes, yeah, because sometimes we can't work with everybody, and being able to make sure you're a good fit, I think is a really important thing, and why those free calls are actually so important. They're not necessarily sales calls, are they? It's a
It's
getting to know
for both.
you and what's going wrong. Yeah, totally. How can we help you, and
And I've also
are we
referred
the
clients
right
on.
fit?
Yeah, I've
Mm.
also referred clients on if I thought, that's not a problem
Yes.
that I'm really specialized in, have a
Mm.
lot of experience. I have someone that's more suitable for that specific problem.
Yeah, yeah, which is a really, ethical way of working. It's really lovely. So, yeah, exactly, because it then becomes about meeting the need and what that priority is for that client at that particular time. Yeah.
Because
So,
a lot of the time, you know how we said it's their last resort. I also feel like
yes.
I also feel like they almost have this mentality, if that doesn't work, there's no one else I'm gonna reach out. And I think that's where it's important
Yes.
there at this point that we're gonna really give them the best chance.
Yes, that's so important, Connie. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you. That's really beautiful. Oh, well, thank you so much. I have really enjoyed our conversation, and I will pop all the links in the description so that people can connect with you. And yeah, thank you for your time today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Heart, Mind, Body Collective podcast. If today's conversation resonated with you, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Your support helps us reach more hearts, minds, and bodies. Until next time, I'm Rebekah Fisher. Take care of your heart, your mind, and your body.